and welcome back to Break Time Conversations, a YouTube channel where I have conversations around education. I have been a teacher all my life, and along my journey, I have met and I continue to meet so many interesting and inspiring people. And so I decided to document my conversations with them here so that you too can hear their stories and the amazing work that they do. I'm here today with Rinila Rachel. Sorry, Rinila. She has been working in the early education space for the last 15 years. It started small when she was in university, and then she eventually went on to study early childhood education in New Zealand. She now does these amazing parent-toddler sessions to enhance social skills, confidence, communication, expressions, rhythm, intonation, and so much more. Rinila, I wish you were doing these sessions when I had my toddlers. It sounds like it's so fun. So I'm now going to hand this over to you to ask you to tell us about your journey and how you got to do what you're doing today.
So, hi. Well, it's been an exciting 15 years. I started straight off college. I was working in a whole lot of different NGOs with children in orphanages and in old people's home. But I was still kind of like figuring out what do I do with my life. And there was this one day I was just walking on the road in HSR layout with my guitar. And I was called off the streets by somebody in a preschool. And she said, "Do you want to come and play for the kids?" So I said, okay. So I just went in and I played for the kids. And from there, it just one thing led to the other. I soon became center manager. And she wanted me to work on curriculum, bringing a more dynamic curriculum, bringing in music, bringing in theater, bringing in all of my core skills to the space. And of course, I kind of felt at that point that this is something I could do for the rest of my life. And then I decided that I really wanted to study it because I felt this huge lack of knowledge. And at that time, there was this drift in India where there was so much of this Western curriculum coming in. There was Montessori setups, and there was something called Reggio, there was something called Waldorf, and all of these interesting concepts and curriculum coming in. And I felt like I really needed to equip myself more if I was going to get into the field. And that's when I went to New Zealand. I was quite a challenge because I was studying and working there. But it was also so eye-opening because I work with so many different kinds of philosophies. And New Zealand has their own curriculum as well. And being such a cultural hotpot, it was very interesting because there were so many Indians, there were Asians, there were the Maori people there. So it's all these different cultures coming together, much like Bangalore, where we have people from so many different parts of the world and India. So I picked up a lot there, and I met my very, very, very good friend Red there. And I learned to play the ukulele because it was so small and so compact with the children rather than having like this huge guitar. Um, and she became a popular favorite much more than I was. And the children just seemed to enjoy music with the ukulele. And that's something that really struck me. And I said, wow, so children are exposed to YouTube and so much of recorded music, but live music still has its own merits. And so I started doing little workshops in New Zealand. I started following a lot of musicians who were doing very interesting things there, including one of my professors who would do very offbeat workshops with children, kind of including music, drama, movement, and letting children do their own thing rather than to copy us or to say, okay, now do this step or now play this rhythm. But rather, we were letting children make up their own rhythm and we were copying them. So to just let them kind of express themselves and immerse themselves into music. So that was something that I brought back with me. And every school that I worked with, Red again became a popular favorite. So every time Red came out, the kids were like, "Yay, circle time!" and "Let's do music." And it was very rewarding to kind of be a curriculum person, plus be with the children, do these sessions, kind of equip teachers also to be confident in using music in classrooms. How do we use music through transitioning through one activity to the other? How do you kind of get children's attention with a puppet? managing the classroom and figuring out these different activities that you can bring together through music, through drama, through creative movement, teaching numbers through dance and teaching letters through songs. So all of that kind of just started coming into place after my whole New Zealand stint. And over the last years, it's just been setting up schools, doing curriculum for schools, training teachers. And over the last year, there were a lot of parents who contacted me and said, "Oh, we missed your classes. We missed the music. Why don't you do something for our kids?" So I started doing workshops on the side, and I started doing classes for babies, like really young babies. So there was one session that I do for under twos, and there's a session that I do for over twos. And the moms just said, "Oh, we'd like to come for this. Why don't you do this more often?" And one thing kind of led to the other. And then Dore Minis was born out of that. So typically now I do baby sensory classes. So that is more to do with, of course, music and drama and dramatic storytelling and all of that, but a lot of visual stimulation, because at that age, they're kind of just figuring out their eye tracking and eye movements. So we do a lot of different kind of things that kind of enhance the visual stimulation, hands-on messy play, because that's something parents are so worried about doing at that age. They're like, "Oh, all the mess and all the cleaning up." And so we do a lot of messy play during the sensory classes. There is, of course, live music, experimenting with different instruments. And there are so many musical concepts that can be taught at that age. And of course, music is, it runs across all ages. So what I teach a 30-year-old is the same thing I teach a 3-year-old, just in a different way. So the parents kind of love bringing the children, and there are so many children who, over the months, is now starting to figure out rhythm and are getting rhythm to the T. And it's so rewarding to see that there are children who are opening up and now interacting with each other at such a young age. And that's also very, very exciting for parents to see and to come to this space where they also have other moms to interact with. So it's kind of become like this little community that we've built. So that's the baby sensory classes, and that's going really well. And I also have the performing arts classes, which is music, drama, and a little bit of creative movement. The reason I kind of brought all three together is really because they, at that age, they're using so much of their body to learn, so much of their mind, of course. And when you use rhythm through your body, it kind of stays within the child. And we use dramatic songs that are kind of the building blocks of drama later on. So many concepts like intonation, pitch, vocal expression, facial expressions, that are all different concepts of drama are now brought in through music. So kind of just integrating all three makes the class so much more fun. The children get to interact with so many different instruments like rhythm sticks, castanets, drums. So they're learning what a beat is, they're learning what a rest is, to take a break, to stop, to freeze, which is also a huge musical concept. They're learning different kinds of songs that involve, say, a scale or an arpeggio or a cadence, and all of these very, very complex musical concepts that are taught to you in a very regimented way, usually, at least that's how I learned it, but really brought to children in a very fun way, through songs, through interacting with instruments. So those are the two classes that I'm doing right now through Dore
Wow,
Minis.
that just sounds so exciting. And thank you for introducing us to Red. Nice to meet Red.
She's happy too.
I really love, I never thought about it when you said about how children are exposed to music, like through YouTube or whatever. But the concept of live music, I've never really, thought about that. That's such an interesting thing that you're introducing them to.
Absolutely. And it's intriguing for a child because so many parents tell me that I've had to buy a ukulele for my child, after seeing and just watching them just strum. And some of their parents are musicians. And recently I got a beautiful video of a father playing the guitar, and the little one is just sitting and going for it. And she's hardly two. So, if you just build that kind of interest and that love for music, then my job's done.
Yeah, I love it. So you have done your early education. I mean, you studied early education. Did you also do some music training in music? Because you seem to
Yeah.
know so much. So
Yeah. So I've studied music all my life. My mom is a music teacher. I've been surrounded by musicians. I've been performing since I was 3. Music is very, very much part of my blood. And I've, performed, and the performing side was very interesting. But I think the teaching side and the education side gives me a lot more satisfaction. So I do take vocal classes for children, piano classes, and to see these children kind of grow and blossom into these performers is very, very interesting for me. And right now, just planting the seeds when a child is 6 months old, and then allowing them to choose their path, whether it's music or drama or dance or whatever they want to kind of get into. But really planting the seeds right now is my core goal.
very nice. So how has the response been? Like, I know you said that your friends were excited and said, "Why don't you start this for our kids?" So and many more parents and toddlers interested in what you're doing?
Yes. So in October, I started off with about 10 children, and I was only doing it on weekends. And slowly by December, I did a whole host of workshops to see if this is something really that parents are connecting with, that children are really enjoying. So we did a lot of messy play and music workshops. And by Jan, I started having regular classes, and now I have about 80 children every week that I meet every single day of the week. So I have about 10 children every day of the week. And it's been growing, and it's been very exciting. I get calls from parents, and now I'm trying to figure out how to handle the volume of it. But I still do workshops, so there's another extra children that I get to meet and interact and build this whole thing with. Yeah.
That's amazing, Rinila. Thank you so much for being here, for sharing this with us. It's such an interesting topic, and I don't know
My
too many
pleasure.
in Bangalore who are doing this. And I hope you continue to get inspired and keep reaching out to all those mums and toddlers out there.
Thank you so much. I totally enjoyed this chat. And thank you for giving me a platform to talk about what I do.
Thank you, and I will be sharing, links to the work that you do, so that whoever is watching this can reach out to you as well. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks and have a great day.
Bye. You
Bye.
too. Bye.